Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Come
Hello,
on
hello.
in. Come on in, everyone. Come on in. Hi, Ty. Hi, Carmelita.
Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
everybody. Hi,
Hello,
Latasha.
everybody.
Come on
Hello. Good,
in,
good,
everyone.
good
Come on in.
afternoon.
Oh, is that
Hi,
an echo?
Ty. Yes.
Carmelita.
Hello, everybody.
So
Hi,
sweet.
Latasha. Everybody.
Come
Hello. Are y'all hearing an echo?
on. Oh, is that
Hi,
an echo?
Ty. Yes.
Carmelita. He said, yes.
All right, come on in, come on
Come on in,
in. Good
y'all.
afternoon, everybody. Oh, I see another Crystal. Hey,
Hi, Crystal. Hi, Judy. Hi,
hello.
Terica. LaShonda. Hi, Nicole. Come on in, everybody. Yes, yes, come on in.
We are so excited to see everybody.
It's fantastic.
Yay! It's Yummy Challenge time.
That's how we feel. Excuse us if it's just too much energy, but we're like, why not? We are living our best lives.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
we are doing our best to extend all of the yummy conversation to all of the women that come into our sphere of influence. So, first of all, if you all don't know, who doesn't know that yummy is an acronym? Raise your hand if you're like, yummy is just yummy to me. It's an acronym. What is the acronym? Yes. Thank you, Lisa. Who else doesn't know that it's an acronym? So listen, everybody, YUMMY is an acronym for your ultimate, most meaningful yet.
Yes.
Your ultimate, most meaningful yet. Because here's what we recognize. There are a lot of good things you could do. There are a lot of great things you could do. But what in this season of our lives is the yummy? What in this season is the most meaningful yet? We're not doing it to people please. We're not doing it to prove. We're not doing it to defend our stance. We're moving in authenticity and we are ready for our ultimate, most meaningful yet. So when we first started, Crystal and I didn't know it was an acronym. We just would say yummy all the time. We'd be like, oh, that's so yummy. And then one day God said, it's an acronym. And Crystal was like, sis, I think yummy is an acronym. And she said, your ultimate, most, and I think I said meaningful yet, right in that moment. And then we started screaming because we recognized, oh my God, that's it. That's where we want to focus.
And you know what? Just recently, we realized what yucky means. Who can guess what yucky means as opposed to yummy? Type in the chat what you think yucky might be an acronym for.
And some folks might be like, oh, yeah, I know what it is.
YUCKY. Yucky. Type in the chat what you think that might be an acronym for. Let's see. Let's see. Anybody?
All right, tell them, sis.
Oh, let me see. Let me see. I think it looked like some people are typing. Let me see. Anybody? Anybody want to unmute themselves and say what they think it is? I see Lisa smiling. She's like, your
No, I'm
ultimate
reading what somebody wrote in the
your ultimate confused, meaningless. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I love that.
You understand comfort is killing you. Not just your comfort, other people's comfort as well. Has anybody put a 1 in the chat if a lot of things that you've accomplished in your life have been for other people, not just for yourself?
Put a 1.
Put a 1 in the chat. Yes, I see those ones coming in.
Hi, Tasia.
Yes, thank you, Cicely. We see it. We see it.
Love it.
One of the things that Dr. Nicole and I have realized in this yummy journey is you have to get out of the comfort, they call it the comfort zone, but it's really the familiar zone to achieve your yummy. Does that make sense?
So we are super excited that you have decided to be a part of the challenge.
Yeah.
And we want to know who you are and where you are. So rep your city in the chat.
Let us know where you're
Rep
joining
your
from.
city in
And
the chat.
welcome to our YouTube Live people as well. Hello, YouTube Live. YouTube Live. And then we've got Memphis, okay. Lawrenceville, Georgia. Inglewood, California.
Belgrade, Florida.
ATL, Shawty.
Yes,
New
Jersey, DC.
Central Jersey.
Yes.
Chicago. Another Jersey. Long Island,
North Carolina.
Uh,
Snellville, Cerritos. Come through, Cerritos.
Yes.
Love it. Rep your city. We want to see who's in the room with us.
How amazing is that to have beautiful Black women joining from all over the world? Not just the nation, all over the world. Florida, Charlotte, Atlanta. Yes.
We love it.
We love it. We are so excited to have you all in our Yummy Challenge. So just to give you an introduction as to who we are, for those of you, put a 1 in the chat if you are already in our tribe. You have been following us. You are already in our tribe. There we go. I see. Yeah. Yes, I see you. I see you. Wonderful. Put a 2 in the chat if this is the first time that you have ever been on a Zoom or a live with us. Lainey. Okay, Jessica. Wonderful. Latasha.
Love it. Ari, Renata. Yes. Come on in the room.
Oh, we're so excited to have y'all, and you all are in for a treat. This entire week, from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to do this Yummy Challenge. And we're going to introduce you all to a new topic each day to help you in relationship with self, in relationship with others, in relationship with spirit, and to find your purpose and start living your ultimate, most meaningful yet. And if this proves to really help you, if it sparks something in you and you found your tribe, we will share with you how you can continue on this journey with us. Is that okay? Fantastic, fantastic. So I am Crystal Khalil. I'm going to try and share this screen so y'all can see. Can everybody see that?
Yes, I see some nods. Good.
Yes. All right.
Real quick. You guys don't know about the wiggle. People who are in our tribe, they know about the wiggle. The wiggle is your friend. So let's do it. You already see we need the cameras on and all of that good stuff. If you don't have something to write with, you might want to just get something because we start saying things, y'all, and we don't remember what we've said. And before you know it, we need it for something else. So we know that you experience the same thing. The other thing we want to do is record really quick, but here's how the recordings go, everybody. We do not use your
no, not on this one. This
we
is
can't do it
YouTube Live.
YouTube Live. Oh,
Yep.
We can't do it because of YouTube
It's
Live.
being recorded already.
It's worth it, y'all. It's worth it. So get some paper, get a pad, pen, and let's start with the wiggle. Put your hand in front of your face, everybody. We want to see you with your hand in front of the face. Now do this.
Come on, yes.
Wiggle it. Take the mask off and put it on your desk or put it on the table or put it on the couch.
Now, ladies, we know some of y'all are at work and you are in your lunch break. We promise you can put your mask back on after the conversation.
For sure.
We promise you can put it back on. But if you got on more than one, let's do it one more time. Because some of us, like me,
wiggle it and take it off.
Put it on the table.
So we know we wear a lot of masks, right? We wear the mask of other people's expectations. We wear the mask of people pleasing. We wear so many masks sometimes that it's hard to know where our face starts and the mask begins.
Yeah.
Right? We wear because we need to be politically correct in certain environments. We just have gotten used to wearing masks to the point where we don't understand the heaviness of it. And often, in fairness, it's because we don't always have safe spaces where we could just be ourselves. We don't have safe spaces where we can just be. All of our environments, when we look around, it's about what we do and how well we do it and how well we do for others. But often it's not just about us. So what we do is we create an environment where you don't need your mask here with us, because we're transparent and authentic, and we want to give you permission to do the same.
Is that good? Put a 1 in the chat if you are ready to have this maskless conversation. Come on through. All right, I see you, I see you, I see you. Awesome.
Amen.
Now, I've got a very important question for you all. If you are still struggling to determine and figure out what your purpose in it is in life, what your purpose is, what is God calling you to do, put a 2 in the chat. I see you. I see you.
Thank you, Lane.
Thank you, Lane. Thank you,
Thanks,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Anybody else? I see you. Okay, I see
See
you.
ya.
Perfect.
Love it.
Perfect. If you are clear on what your purpose is, but you have some challenges figuring out how to make it happen, you sometimes wonder how you can make money with that purpose, or where the resources are coming from, or the people. How are you going to make it happen? Put a 3 in the chat. I see you, Crystal, Jessica,
Crystal,
Lisa. Awesome. Awesome. I see it. I see it.
Renata, Latasha.
Perfect.
Love
Deborah.
that. Kia.
Yes.
Deborah, Kanisha.
Wonderful, ladies. Today we're going to be talking about purpose and calling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Crystal Khalil. I spent 30 years in corporate America, climbing the corporate ladder, trying to break through glass ceilings, trying to figure out who I was in the midst of trying to define myself and improve that I deserve to be in those rooms where nobody else looked like me. Put in a 1 in the chat if you've had those only experiences where you're in the room and nobody else looks like you and you feel like you've got to prove you deserve to be there. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. The first third of my career, I was learning how to network, because I came from a very hard-working family where my parents taught me I had to work twice as hard to get half. Put a 2 in the chat if you have ever been told by your parents that it wasn't good enough to just be average, you had to be better. Yes, 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 right? So I worked really, really hard trying to figure out who I was, trying to exceed everybody else's expectations. But I didn't know how to connect with others. Because if you've ever heard, how many of you know it's not what you know, it's who you know? So I had the what you know, but I wasn't skilled in the who you know. Can y'all still see us? Yes? Okay, perfect. So I spent the first third of my career trying to figure out, how to network, how to break through those glass ceilings and create the connections to get to the next level. The second third of my career, I started figuring it out. I started opening doors and holding those doors open for those behind me. And I was climbing the corporate ladder. And in 2015, I had an epiphany. I went to Cape Town, South Africa with some friends of mine. And I was standing on the top of Table Mountain, which is absolutely gorgeous if you've never been there. And I'm looking out, and we were thinking, me and my girlfriend said, this is the closest we have ever felt to God. So we decided to pray. We held hands on the top of that mountain. We were like in the clouds. We're like, we're so close to God, he's got to hear our prayers right now. And we began to pray, and I heard my soul speak for the first time. And it said, God, I want to be able to travel this world and serve your people without worrying about resources. Now, at the time, I had this job that I had been working really hard to climb the corporate ladder. I was married. I was going, I had all these responsibilities, kids that were graduate, some of them were in high school, getting ready to graduate, all those things that we plan for. And I heard my brain say to my soul, how are we going to do that? How is that going to happen? And I said, okay, God, I feel like this is my purpose. And since 2015, I have been lining up things. God has been lining up. I've been saying yes. I started my year of yes, and I've been saying yes, and things have been lining up to where I am today.
Yeah.
And what God did was in 2020, I was able to retire from that job. And I thought that I was taking the leap and I was hanging out my shield for Crystal Khalil and Associates executive coaching firm. And God caught me. And he paired me with Dr. Nicole on this journey of helping women unbind and unleash their ultimate potential.
Yeah. Wow. It's so interesting, everybody. If you don't know me, I come from a background of Caribbean parents, hardworking folks who had a whole lot of trauma. They came over here as immigrants, and in coming over here, experienced some pretty hard times. And my mom experienced quite a bit of challenge having children. All of her kids before me passed away, either being live births who were kids that she nurtured and loved and was mom to. And then before the age of 6, they both passed away. One is a baby, one is a 5-year-old. They told her she couldn't have any more kids. And she gets pregnant with me. And I am the miracle baby that she wanted more than anything. But truth of the matter is, she's a woman that was skilled and smart and brilliant and ambitious, but she had had a lot of disappointment, a great deal of letdowns in her life. So what she taught me, I always say the major quote that I remember was, she said, friends are your friends until they know, because whenever your friends become your foe, all over the world, your secrets shall go. She told me that when I was a little girl. I still remembered it because it was so impactful. It spoke about relationships. It spoke about trust. It spoke about safety. It spoke about security. And if you think about the quote, you're like, she didn't have a whole lot of that. So she wanted to protect me. And in protecting me, she gave me some limiting beliefs that she didn't know was limiting, but they really would speak to how I navigated adulthood. My gifts and talents were always in the space of relationship, though that was the one thing she was trying to protect me from. So it's so interesting, sis, how God called me into this space of working with women in the area of business and relationships, but he had to take me through some things and allow some things because I was very successful. I was doing well. I was making money. The slide is not up, but you'll see all of the things that I was accomplishing. And he was like, yeah, but I got to take you to the next level. And I was like, no, this level is fine, actually. I've got my hardwood floors. I've got my gated community. I've got my screened in pool. My backyard is 13,000 square feet. I'm really good, actually. Leave me right here. And he was like, it doesn't work that way, Nicole, because I have to use you as a vessel to be able to do kingdom building work. And I was like, here we go. Here we go. What if I want to do that? And he was like, you want to do it your way? I was like, no, not really, but I don't want to lose all my stuff. And the way you're talking, it feels like I'm about to engage in something that's going to make me unhappy. I was right. It was short-lived, but I was right. It was a big deal. I lost everything. I had a locust experience. And God was taking me to a new level because what he shared with me was everything that I had accomplished to that point. It was head driven but not heart driven because you couldn't access my heart. I was a very nice person. I still am. People knew me, they still do, but they didn't know my heart. They didn't have access. So, this big word that often many of us don't ever want to use, I'm going to say it in here, and it's not the word vagina, but it is the word vulnerability. Okay? Because when we say the first one, it's like, oh, what you about to talk about? But when we say vulnerability, it's like, hold on, what are you about to talk about? It was very clear to me that what God was saying was, you've got to let people access your heart, because where I'm taking you, they cannot just hear from your head. It has to be heart and head, because that is where purpose and calling really aligns. That's where it really is. So after that experience of losing everything, I was like, well, I still have my business. I still have my talent. I can still do what I do, but I just have to start from scratch. And he was like, you still don't get it. I'm going to do some things differently this time. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And then he introduced me to Crystal. When he introduced me to her, I cannot tell you, it was an answer to prayer before I even fully knew what the prayer was, because my heart was calling for community, connection, accountability, alignment, calling, all of those things. But I did not know it was going to move forward in a partnership. And a lot of people told me at the time, partnerships are sinking ships. Don't nobody do that. This is my little niece. Don't nobody. Okay, I got some snacks for you because we thought you might be coming. Take it with you.
Look, life is life, y'all.
So what was amazing was God was like, I'm going to show you what it looks like to move in community, because you and Crystal are going to build a community. I'm going to send you very specific women who do it for everybody. They are to do it, girls. They make it happen for everybody. What you need? You need a funeral planned? I got you. You need some money? I got you. You need a loan? I got you. You need a weave? I got you. You need a kidney? I got you. What you need? Whatever you need, I know somebody that can help get you what you need, because that's what I do. I am the crisis manager. I intervene, I plan, I make things happen. I do for everyone. But guess what? There comes a point where, for this woman, Crystal, myself, you start to say, oh my God, I got all these resources in this phone. But who do I call if I need somebody? Who can do for me what I do for them the way I do it? Getting it done in excellence. Who's in my phone that shows up for me the way I show up for everybody? And he was like, I'm going to show you someone who needs you to show up for them the way you show up for everybody, and vice versa. And you're going to show each other how to make this happen for other women so that they can see it, they can experience it, they can understand it, and they can start to say, oh, wow, God, you heard my prayers. So that's what this became for us. Our Sister Diamond experience, our Crystal and Dr. Nicole experience, all of the blessings that God has given us has really been to create community, goodness, liberation, opportunity for activation, and opportunity for acceleration with a very specific type of woman, a woman that shows up very much like we do. Put a 2 in the chat if you are that girl that everybody calls when they need something. Put a 2 in the chat. You're like, yep, funeral, family reunion. What's the event? You need like I said, need a kidney. It's not funny. It's serious.
Yeah.
House about to foreclose. You don't know what to do. You pick up the phone and call me. Yeah. Brother not acting right. Mama not acting right. Husband ain't acting right. Whatever you need, I got you.
Now, all of you who put 2 in the chat, Who's there for you when you need that support? Who does for you what you do for everyone else?
Put a one in the
I
chat
see you, Tanel.
if
I
you
see you, LaQuanda.
if you're not in our community, because you know this language so well.
Mhm.
But if you're not in our community,
Mhm.
put a one in the chat if this is you. If you're like, oh my God, they're talking to me.
Mhm. Mhm. We
I
see you.
love that.
We
We
see
see you.
you. Now let's talk about purpose a little bit, ladies.
Mhm.
Type in the chat how you define purpose. How do you define purpose? Especially for those of you who are still kind of struggling to figure out.
I think they froze, right?
Yep. Yeah. They froze. Hey, everybody. This is Pastor Casey Whitney. I work with Dr. Nicole and Crystal, and they should be coming back on. I think they just froze. I think they just froze. Give them a couple more minutes.
Hey, Pastor Casey.
Hey.
Faithful Central.
Hey. How you doing? Yeah. Uh,
I'm good. How are you? We
I'm
miss you.
fine. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you so much. I thought I saw Inglewood somewhere, Inglewood, California. And so just while we're trying to get them unfroze, I work with Dr. Nicole and also Crystal Khalil, and they're two awesome women. And I think that this is an important conversation because where do we have a safe space to be vulnerable, to take off our mask and to be who we are and still be accepted, still be heard, still be connected in community, still be valued, because people value us sometimes because of what we can do, but we're valuable regardless of what we can do for them. We're valuable because we're here. We're valuable because we have a purpose. We're valuable because God's given us an assignment. And so this is a space to be not only vulnerable, but find your value. So you're vulnerable and we find our value and we do it in community in a way that propels you forward to be the best you can be, to experience your yummy life. And so that's what I've learned while working with them. And they've helped develop some things in me, equipped me, um, given me a different voice. So not only do you find that vulnerability works for you and that you have value, you get your voice back. How many of you guys feel like you don't always have your voice, that your voice isn't always going to be accepted in the room? Put in the chat one, because sometimes our voice, we have it, but should we say it? Should we speak on it? How are we going to be taken? Is someone going to accept what we say? Does it seem like it's going to be valued? And so sometimes we silence ourselves when you have something valuable to say and you have a voice, and people need to hear your voice. Your voice is like any other, not like any other voice in the room. It's not like any other opinion in the room. And so we are here not only for vulnerability, but to get your voice back and for you to feel valued. Did they unfreeze? I don't want to take over the workshop.
I think so. And
Okay.
so glad that you are here. Y'all, we have interruptions all the time when we do stuff like this. It's like the enemy be so mad. Stuff happens that we do not even understand. But now we got other folks in the room, like Pastor Casey, that's like, we are not skipping a beat. We will keep moving forward and doing the assignment. So thank you for that, Pastor Casey. So I think where we left off was, how do you define purpose, right? So who in the room can speak to what you believe purpose is? What do you believe purpose is? You can feel free to come off of mute. Anybody? First of
Hi,
all, yes, go ahead.
this is Shalonda. I believe purpose is being my full authentic self and moving in the assignment that's been given to me. And sometimes that seems broad, but for me, it's just like small whispers, small inklings to move here, to encourage this person, to sow seed here, and to have my actions be a byproduct of who I am versus my doing leading the way.
Oh,
Love
that's
that.
good. Thank you,
Love that,
Shalonda.
Shalonda.
Good to see you. It's been a long time.
Indeed, indeed. Who else? Who else can speak to what purpose and calling is? What do you think it is?
Hi everyone. My name's Yunakam. I think purpose has a lot to do with God's mission for each and every person's life. Recently, I've been understanding just kind of being able to tap into self and getting to know ourselves on such a level and creating such a relationship with him. Where, as the previous lady just said, you start to see a trail of like breadcrumbs that he's placing to like guide you along. So that's my response.
I love that, Yunako.
And one of the things that's interesting, with those breadcrumbs, he's always given us breadcrumbs. Like if we look back at our lives, many of us think purpose is one thing. It's one thing, right? But if we look at other people who walk in purpose and walk on purpose, they will tell you one of the things Crystal said one day is purpose is a series of callings, right? So you'll see the breadcrumbs that let you see things that are gift driven, things that God has given you an affinity for, God has given you an anointing for, God has given you the ability to see it, do it, walk in it, and have a passion for it that other people are not really moved by that. You're moved by it. You're intensely moved by it. You're fueled by it. But what often interrupts the conversation of purpose with many of us? What often interrupts that conversation? Put in the chat what often interrupts the conversation.
Fear, money.
Money.
What else?
Fear. What
Doubt.
else? Doubt.
Self. Keep going.
What else interrupts the conversation?
Distractions. Oh,
Support.
finance, fear, life challenges, the voices in my head. Yes, Latasha. Temptations.
So what does it look like if all of those things that were just in the chat were evicted? Because for many of us, those things in the chat take residence.
Other people's opinions. Yes.
They become squatters, right? In our house, got their foot on our furniture, opening up our fridge. I don't know about you, but can people just come to your house, Latasha, and open your fridge when they want to? They just walk up and open the fridge and take what they want. Bridget, can they just walk in and just make themselves at home and put their feet on your furniture? Those things that we just put in the chat, they're squatters. And with our permission, they take residence. And after a while, they start to yuck our yum because they're not comfortable. They're familiar, but they've been there so long, they're now, even when God says, I got you on the money, just go. We're like, well, I don't know about that. I said I got you on the money because the money that you're afraid of leaving, who gave that to you? I gave you what you're afraid of letting go. So I got you. Go. You're like, I can't because I don't want to lose. What are some of the reasons, you guys, that we are often fearful of moving in and on purpose? Who might we let down? What might be consequences if we move on what God is telling us, or the breadcrumbs that we've seen? What if it doesn't work?
Yes,
Right.
you're not. What if it does? And what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't work? One of my favorite scriptures is Romans 8:28. Anybody know what that is? Romans 8:28. Anybody know what that means? What that scripture is?
I believe it says all things work together for the good of those that are called according to his purpose.
Ooh. Say it one more time.
Amen.
All things work together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose.
Thank you. So if it doesn't work, is it still good?
Yes.
Right? Because one of the things we have to understand is things may not always be pleasant, but they are always good. They may not always be pleasant. The divorce might have not have been pleasant. The bankruptcy probably wasn't pleasant. That when you got laid off on the job, that wasn't pleasant. When you tried the first time and it didn't work out, that wasn't pleasant. All those things that may have not been pleasant still work together for the good of those who are called according to his purpose. He can use it all. He will use it all. And if you look back, for those of you still trying to define your purpose, if you look back at all the things that God has brought you through, what are those breadcrumbs? What can he take with those breadcrumbs and create? What did he bring you through so that you can go back and shine your light and help others get through it?
Because often your experience is what he's going to utilize to help others in their experience. So your experience becomes a gateway to breakthrough for someone else's experience. But I love what you said, sis, about what if it doesn't work, because one of the things that we get tricked into believing is that a no is a rejection. And if it doesn't happen exactly the way we thought it should happen, then that's the sign that we need to retreat. Run back to familiar. But what if God's assignment was a process where it was going to take 3 times to be able to really push you into the space of flourishing and thriving? But on the first sign, the first moment of this might not be the $1 million idea, you retreat and run all the way back to familiar when all of the breadcrumbs have been showing you that this is leading to somewhere. This is leading to something important if I just don't throw in the towel.
And the interesting thing about that, sis, is because we brought up Romans 8:28, and it said, a lot of us just read that one scripture and don't go any further. If you read further, it then says, and those who he's called, he fortifies and he justifies.
Mhm.
So the fortification process is the buildup.
Mhm.
It's the buildup. It's when we're doing the work
Mhm.
so that we can be strong enough to walk out the purpose.
So let's talk about, so you get these breadcrumbs from childhood, and all of us have so many different experiences that are celebrations, that are traumas, that are victories, that are what we might perceive as failures. We've lived full lives, but the breadcrumbs have been there to guide us forward. What is the one thing that makes it very hard for us to see what God has for us? There is something that we experience as women that it's a breakthrough point for us. What is that? What is that major thing that gives us access to our dreams and access to good and access to great, but we struggle with it a lot? Who can put in the chat what you think that is? Put in the chat what you think is a major struggle for us as women, Black women especially. Faith,
Faith.
what else?
Intuition, listening to it,
listen,
feeling not good enough,
feeling not good enough,
rejection,
rejection.
the ability to say no. What else? Being strong, the unknown, not being able to see it.
So Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain, right? It's something we hear about all the time. So they
Oh, Laquan,
read it,
there you go.
not admitting when we need help. Love that.
Put others' dreams
Overwhelmed
in
by
front.
others' expectations.
Mhm.
You can see the list, right? But the thing that anchors so much of that list, this is a hack, right? We're going to give you a hack. The thing that anchors so much of that list is when we either lose sight of how God sees us or we don't believe what he sees. We've lost sight of it or we don't believe it. Because the clarity that comes when we give ourselves permission to say, my divorce didn't change how you saw me, huh? That abortion didn't change how you saw me? That foreclosure didn't change how you saw me?
Molestation.
That molestation didn't change how you saw me? How can you possibly still see me the same way with all the decisions that I've made?
Or all the trauma or the things that have happened to me.
The choices, the people that let me down. Like, how is it possible that you still see me the same? But what happens when we buy into what we call once an apple, always an apple? God made you an apple. Put it in the oven if you want to. Put some sugar on it, apple strudel, still apple. Put it in the blender, make a smoothie, still apple. Put it in a crust, make a pie, still apple. What if I truly believe, independent of what is happening, that how God sees me and the assignment and the love and the endearment and how he made me is still good, independent of what has happened in my life? How does that change the conversation of purpose if we believe first that how God sees us is true and there's nothing we could do to change it? Put it in the chat. What does that do for us if now we believe what he said about me is still true? we would be fearless.
Yes, Latasha, we would be fearless. What else, y'all? Increase of faith and confidence. Yes. Bold, complete trust and assurance, unstoppable. Yes.
When we see ourselves the way God sees us, no's are data. They're not even experienced the same way. We know that the enemy wants to offer that it's rejection. It's just because this is not what you're supposed to be doing. But when you're like, you gave me purpose, you see me as good, you made me in your image, I'm wonderfully made, nothing changed my DNA, then you're like, all right, I guess I got to keep going till I get to my yes. This no doesn't stop me. And for some of us, it propels me because I know that I've been assigned. When it comes to purpose, one of the things that we talk about is what can you see as you're aware? Purpose is not a what, it's a where. It's a what from the standpoint of you put this purpose in your heart. We said purpose has a lot of callings, right? Different things at different points in your life. So, what happens if you start to see from that place of real power that's independent of all the things happening around you, but it's a God confidence that you trust and you believe, independent of what you can see, independent of what the bank account says, independent of what people have said. You now start to see you the way you see kids in your life that you love, full of potential, brave, amazing, bold, possibility. You start to look at yourself in the mirror and you start to see yourself through the same lens you used to see the children in your life that you love. How does that change the game? If that's the lens that you're working from.
Yes, total reliance on God. Yes.
Right?
Game changing.
It's game changing.
And what happens if you start to believe that the God who sees you as courageous, beautiful, loving, kind, all those things, God sees you just like you see that child that you love. What happens if you understand and believe that that God owns the table?
All of it.
He owns all the resources. Resources. If you start to understand that God is the source and everything else is a resource. The job is a resource. The person you are in relationship with is a resource. Money is a resource. Everything else is a resource. But the source
is singular.
Is singular. Does that change the game? See, when I realized that, and I was working in corporate America, thinking about how I was going to make the transition and leap, I started saying, oh my God, I'm going to leave this job. Or how am I going to pay my bills? Oh Lord, okay, I hear you. I hear you telling me to take the leap. But oh Lord, that paycheck coming every 2 weeks sure does feel good, right? Knowing that direct deposit is going in gives me a little bit of comfort. Am I going to be able to take care of myself? And God said, oh, you think you taking care of yourself? Oh, you think that job is the source? Is that what you think? You confused.
I got these bills to pay. I got these kids to feed. I done told this college that I could pay this tuition. I, I, which will make you weary. Right. Because when you think about, oh my gosh, I got to do all of this versus saying it's not about it's about we. Right. What are you trying to do in me and threw me like this little girl trying to climb on top of me. She's like, yummy this. She's like, I'm yummy. I want you to see how yummy I am. But we are not distracted. Right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that if you're gonna sit, are you gonna be quiet? You're gonna
Sit.
manage
No.
yourself?
Sit.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So one of the things that we want to give you as the foundation of this challenge, because we're not
it
just
money?
here, we're not just here talking. There's a foundational principle. It's called liberation. And let's talk about liberation because our yummy method starts with liberation. Liberation of what? Liberation of your mindset. Now, words are very powerful. The Bible talks about words being very powerful. When we think of the word mindset, it might be over our head. What does mindset mean? It means where is your mind set? Is it set on 7? And what is 7? Is 7, I can't do any of these things until all my kids graduate from college? Is it 6? I can't move in purpose because I don't even believe that I deserve a purpose. You got to know how I spent my younger days to really understand where I'm at in this conversation. Where's your mindset? Where's the dial? And is where it's set speaking to your liberation or is it speaking to bondage? When you really think about it and you're like, okay, where is my mindset? What's the dial on when it comes to this conversation of purpose? Is it set on feasibility? I know what he's saying, but I can't because I don't have this in the bank. I don't have a partner. I have things in my life that came up unexpectedly that I didn't plan that keep me from moving forward. Where is it set? Because what we believe in this tribe, a shift is going to bless you if it's not set in a place that speaks to your freedom. Wherever the dial is in this conversation of calling and purpose. Dr. Nicole, Crystal, I hear what you're saying, but I believe my breadcrumbs, I just love to eat. That's all I've ever loved to do. And I'm so sorry, I cannot pay my bills thinking about food, dreaming about food. You can't? We know people that do. That's their lane. Is creating experiences around food. If we look and we want to see how many stars did you give them for this experience to decide whether to go to this restaurant. So they're the reviewers. We were just laughing and talking the other day about the guy who came
Keith
to
Lee.
Atlanta, Keith Lee, and sat in his car and ate and then told us whether it was good or not and practically almost shut some people down. But yet, if our mind is set at this place that says, nothing good can come from that, you can't feed yourself doing that.
How many people probably told him he would never be able to make that into a way and means to feed his family?
So put a 2 in the chat if you're like, wow, I hadn't thought about where my mind was set, but it's not set at freedom. Put a 2 in the chat. You're like, I'm buying what you're putting down. I'm hearing you. It's not set at freedom. Now I may have to figure out exactly what this 6 means or this 8 means, but I know where it is right here. It's not set at freedom. How many of you, if liberation was the dial that you shifted to, your entire life experience would change? Put a 3 in the chat. If you're like, if my dial was defined as I'm liberated, I'm not bound. God's got me. I can do this with his help. And I see the breadcrumbs. He ain't changed. It ain't like he started with sourdough and went to wheat bread. He been consistent because he's not confused. It would shift.
Let's take a moment. We got 4 minutes left. Is there anybody who wants to share a aha moment or takeaway? A aha moment or takeaway from today on purpose? Unmute yourself.
My takeaway would be the mindset. Where is your mindset? We hear that all the time. And our minds are so strong, and we always hear like you got to have this type of mindset. But where is your mindset? What is it set on? So that was a aha or a wow moment, and there was tons of things, taken away, but that stuck out to me. So I could be intentional about seeing where my mindset is and tapping into freedom.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you,
that.
Kanisha. Love that.
And Kanisha, with your sisters, we're going to define where the dial is. Tonight, just start jotting some things down. Well, how do I know where it's set? By what you tell yourself. What are the conversations you have with you and conversations that you let spirit that is not God have with you?
Write it down in your journal.
Write it down in your journal tonight, because that's going to show you, oh, so I look cute, baby. I got hair. But my mind is set on 4, and I want to bring into fruition stuff that requires a 12. My mind's on 4, my desire's on 12. Shalonda, what were you going to say?
So God is unchanging, and that really hit hard for me because I started viewing God as I view me for what God could do for me. So I would think God is unchanging and God does this and he's consistent and this God does this. But no, today you helped me to rethink about God sees me the same. So no matter how I might have changed out of the original design he created me to be, he still sees me original, and I have to get my vision back. Thank you.
Thank you, Shalonda.
God's view, your view. You moving all over the place. He ain't moved nowhere. He like, just come back to me, would you? Because I have not moved. You all over. Just come back to me because I haven't moved. I haven't shifted.
You knock them. Thank you, Shalonda.
Thanks, Shalonda.
So something that stood out for me, it's actually something I heard for the first time yesterday. So to hear it reiterated verbatim with you guys spoke to me. And it was the fact that we don't see ourselves the way that God sees us. I consider myself confident in myself and like my abilities and things like that. But I've started to realize that it's kind of like in my own bubble. It's not reflective of like what I accept and the things that I tolerate. So.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you so much, Unakum. That's good. Alexandria J.
Okay, so for me, the takeaway was saying like with source, like understanding that we really not doing as much as we think we doing. Like you giving yourself so much credit for things. So I definitely can say that's a good takeaway for myself, just understanding like it's not always feeling like what I can do, but kind of leaning into God and understanding like He gonna guide you if you allow Him to guide you, but you just gotta, pay attention.
Oh, thank you so much, Alexandria. And
Oh.
we appreciate you all. It's 1:00. We're going to be doing this every day. Tomorrow, Pastor Casey Whitney, who you got a taste of today already, you got an introduction to her. She will be leading you all through relationship with spirit. Relationship with the source. There's your wave at him, Pastor Casey. Yes, we'll be talking about cultivating some self-compassion, self-forgiveness, those things that we really need to do to get closer to spirit and get closer to how God sees us.
So we welcome you to the Yummy Challenge, y'all.
Yes.
Put a 4 in the chat if you like. Okay, I see what y'all putting down. This is more than what I thought.
All right, ladies.
This was yum. Because we're going to build on it. So tonight, again, get your journal. Where is your mindset? How do you know? Based on the conversation. You are the audience, but you're also the narrator, right? So we're going to come back here tomorrow. Bring your lunch, bring your snacks. We're going to bring ours. We love you, love you,
And
love you.
tell your sister friends about it.
Sisters to come.
Post hashtag Yummy Challenge on your social.
Yes.
Sisters, they can still join.
They're not too late.
It's not too late. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow at noon, ladies. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.